Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Fragments of Memory, your friendly neighborhood armchair philosopher. I've just gotten off work from my wonderful little job, and heading on home. But I decided I'd drop a quick little video. Now, do you remember the old nursery rhyme? What are little girls made of? Sugar and spice and everything nice. And what are little boys made of? Snip snails and puppy dog tails. Well, that nursery rhyme encapsulates how our culture treats boys and girls and later on men and women. We're taught that women are innately, intrinsically good, regardless of deeds, regardless of actions, regardless of words. We're basically taught that a woman is above reproach, that she cannot be reproached, her character and her good name cannot be challenged. At least this is the messages I received as a young man growing up. And of course, sugar, spice, everything nice. Well, of course, what's nice? You put a little sugar, a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down. So that's what we're taught. And conversely, boys and then men snip snails and puppy dog tails. Well, snails are slimy, they in the dirt. Dogs run around and smell. And of course, women refer to men as dogs. I have written down my points. That's why I'm looking back and forth, kind of hesitating a little bit. We as men, and this is something that a YouTuber, you might know him as Styles or Mr. Nutward TV or Monstrosity. He mentioned this a while ago in one of his videos where he said, women are taught to cater to men. Men are taught to cater to women. And that's something that I've thought about for a very long time. I never considered that. Someone else was feeling it. I thought I was crazy when I first was thinking this. Because as a little boy, I was taught, you let the girls go first. You hold the door open for women. You offer to carry a girl's heavy items. You offer to carry a woman's heavy items. This is what we were taught. This is what good boys did. This is what gentlemen did. And Hollywood and Disney aid and abet this sort of thinking. They co-sign and support this sort of thinking. They go, yeah, if you want to be seen as a prince by the ladies, do what the Disney prince does. Do what the Disney prince tells you to do. Do what the Disney prince did for Princess Jasmine. Do what the Disney prince did for Snow White. Do what the Disney prince did for Cinderella. So I think that ladies have got sort of a Walt Disney Hollywood idea of love, romance, and the like. So for us, people like myself, who's a regular dude, just, punching in the clock, going to work, coming home, paying his bills, can I really roll with that? Can I compete with that? Can I basically measure up to some standard that has been placed on me by women and at large society? So that's just something I've been thinking about. And the messages we get from society, both explicitly and implicitly, are if you don't cater to the woman, you're seen as a scrub. You're seen as a loser. You're seen as not a real man. And that seems to be the thing that sort of comes up in our discourse between men and women, is just that. So we collectively protect women. And when I mean we, I mean society at large, even at the expense of men. Let's look at the Maury Povich show. Now, if you notice with the Maury Povich show, you got a lot of, case in point. The woman comes on, she has a baby out of wedlock. The woman then swears up and down that, I'm 1,000% sure that this dude right here is my baby daddy. And then when Maury, and of course, when that guy comes out, the audience boos the man. The audience takes a complete dump on the man. Without any proof, guilty before proven innocent, the sympathies go to the woman, but the men get booed and jeered and shunned. Then, woman insists, swears on a stack of Bibles. Oh yeah, I'm 1,000% sure. I'm 1,000,000% sure. And then Maury hits the results. He whips the results out and he says, in the case of this baby, my man Roger, you're not the father. And the woman starts crying and going all on having an emotional meltdown. And the dude is just dancing and singing and happy. And notice the audience seems to have sympathy for the woman. Yet it was the woman who was sexually irresponsible. But that seems to sort of bypass people's awareness. People don't think about, oh yeah, that woman was being sexually irresponsible, and now she was sleeping with many people, or she was sleeping with more than one guy around the same time. And of course, she was not being responsible for her own body. She was being careless and reckless. But instead of people saying that, we give her our sympathy. Now again, I'm not trying to come off as I'm better or holier than thou. Just, why is that? Because ultimately, men are seen as expendable. And women, of course, are valued and all of that good stuff. Let's say, case in point, a man has a domestic dispute. Let's say he gets into an argument with his woman and he gets physical. And let's say the woman initiated the physicality. And let's say the dude tried to walk away, but the woman kept beating on the dude and he finally retaliated. So when law enforcement shows up, they grab the dude and let the lady go free. And I've heard of stories like this. So I'll be sitting there going, wait a minute. But why do we automatically assume the woman is intrinsically good? Now, this video isn't meant to bash or thrash or throw women under the bus. This is more or less asking the question, why is it that we automatically give women a free pass for whatever foolishness or craziness that they get involved with? We sort of give them a free pass, where a man is taught, again, borrowing from the YouTuber Styles, I hope you don't mind if you hear this, that men are taught, you gotta take it on the chin. You gotta suck it up as a man and keep it pushing. So that's how I feel. I felt that way for the very longest time. Like, as a guy, I can't scream about the system being unfair. Even when we look at the courts in divorce, the courts tend to favor the women. When we look at child support, the laws really favor the women, not the men. Even if it was the man that was being the responsible one and the woman being irresponsible. So when I hear people talk about the equality between the sexes or women being superior to men, I call it all hogwash, because not that I'm against the equality of the sexes, but many of the people that proclaim it don't seem to believe it. Because the very people saying equality, 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 or superiority, 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 they only want to be equal when it suits them. People only want to be equal when it suits them. People want equal benefits. People don't want equal responsibility. And that seems to be the crux of it all. Whereas a guy, I know that if I get into it with a lady right now, the social stigma will be on me and not the lady. The social stigma won't be on her. They'll find a way to excuse her, cover for her, or save her. Where me as the guy, I get to take the hit and the L, and I think that's kind of messed up. But hey, it is what it is. And I'm saying a lot, so let me stop. And as a YouTuber, Mumia Obsidian Ali aptly discussed, that many men are held to an outdated, antiquated standard in regards to the social contract, while women are allowed to pick and choose which social contract that they want. So shout out to Obsidian for pointing that out. I don't even agree with every single thing that he says, but he makes very salient points with that. Where old-fashioned freedom for me, but not for thee. Or choice for me, but not for thee. That's sort of how it comes off. And I think we judge men in a vacuum, according to that old, outdated social contract, where women, on the other hand, are are not judged in a vacuum. They're judged within a particular context. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not going to say that women don't experience sexism or sexual harassment or misogyny, but I am going to say that there is another side to that story. Because there's three sides to every story. There's your side, there's my side, and then there's the truth. So I got to give my perspective. I got to give my view. So that's all. Peace. Take care.